Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are the headline musicians from week 2 of KCCK's Jazz Under the Stars, Betsy Hickok and Ron Roberts. Welcome.
Well, good.
Thanks,
to be
Dennis.
here.
Good to see you.
So great to have you here. Looking forward to your show coming up Thursday at Knoll Ridge Park. And Betsy, it's been a long time.
I know it has. It has, Dennis. I was living over in Ames for about a decade, and now I'm living back in this area. And it was fun. Got to do a lot of music over in the Ames, Des Moines area, but it's really lovely to be back in eastern Iowa and playing for Cedar Rapids, Iowa City.
So let's talk about we'll start with your history just a little bit, because I think you are well known to many of our listeners from your past performances. We got your CD that still pops up every now and again, but you have been a singer in Iowa for a long, long time. Some people remember Too Much Yang. I remember Too Much Yang.
That's right. Yeah. Well, Dennis, I moved to Iowa in 1987 to attend the Writers' Workshop, actually. So poetry and jazz, two very lucrative fields to go into. But I right away, that was kind of when I started doing jazz, and I always had a thing for the voice and guitar duo sound. Right around that time, the 1980s, Joe Pass and Ella Fitzgerald came out with one of their albums. And so when I moved here, I found a guitarist that I worked with. So there were a couple different guitarists I worked with over the years, including the great Ron Hillis, who's still in the area. And then I kind of switched over to performing with a piano player that many of your audience members will know, Dan Knight.
Dan Knight, yeah.
And we had a lot of fun. And when Dan moved away, I had to find...
You moved away too, apparently.
Yes, that's right. And I had to find a new guitarist, and that's actually how I met Ron, who is also my husband. My husband...
But not at the time.
Yeah, no, he was not at the time, but that's how we got connected and met each other and eventually started playing together.
So by now you've moved to Ames. And that was where you two met, or was that before?
Yeah, no, what happened was I was still in Iowa City. I was kind of seeking a guitarist to play music with, and somehow somebody put me in touch with Ron. We started emailing about playing music together and discovered that we had a little more in common beyond our love of jazz. And so because of that distance between Ames and Iowa City, by the time we finally got together, we knew each other pretty well. And so we started playing music, actually got married, and then I moved to Ames where he was living.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's, now I understand the timetable.
Yes, yeah.
So, and Ron, you're a talented and serious guitarist, but it's not your day job.
That is not my day job. No, I work in a research center at Iowa State in a specialized area of acoustics, which is what actually brought me here to Iowa in 1989.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
So what came first, studying acoustics or your interest in the guitar?
Oh, they kind of evolved simultaneously. I got into the acoustics because of audio technology with that interest, such as we have here in this room. But once I started studying, I was kind of swayed under the allure of the mathematical physics and getting into the computational simulation and so forth of acoustic phenomena. And launched off into an area of research, ended up going into grad school, and got involved in an area that uses acoustics to inspect things. And right now I put a lot of time into inspecting aircraft engines, designing ultrasound measurements for the inspection of aircraft engines and so forth.
Because once you install an engine into an aircraft, getting in to take a look at it is not easy.
It is not, and if they can, whatever can be done without disassembling the engine is very desirable.
Well, I am generally in favor of not disassembling airplane engines.
Right, especially not in the air.
Right. So what's without diving too far, into the math and everything, what's one area or one thing you've turned up in acoustical study that is kind of your favorite piece of trivia?
Oh, what have I done that's a favorite piece of trivia? This might be it. At one time, we were asked to develop an acoustic sensor for the International Space Station. So in that case, it was looking for air leaks, air that was going.
Something else you don't want to disassemble.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So, and did that project come to fruition? Is it a device that's actually have been used? And
it's a device that was developed, but I don't think it's ever been deployed, which is often the case. But yeah.
Well, it's standing by if they ever need it.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Well, this has been the Science Hour on KCCK. I suppose now we could talk about music. So Betsy, you said that you've traditionally worked with guitarists. Then you went off the rails for a while and worked with a pianist. and Dan will probably listen to this and he's laughing out loud right now. So since the two of you have been working together, what has anything changed in your approach to music? Any horizons broadened? What's different?
That's a really great question, and I want to credit Ron because really up until meeting him, I was very focused on certainly singing jazz standards, but very focused on vocal music. And Ron has really expanded my horizons, and I've just learned a lot more of jazz history, jazz, instrumental music, which is really important for a vocalist to know. So I think there's that, and also in more recent years, I know I've really been working more on improvisation and a little scat singing even. I've come to that a little bit later in life, but Ron's been a real inspiration in just kind of developing, in that way, developing our improvisational skills.
Ron, how would you in the jazz guitar lexicon, who are your influences? Who are besides Ron, of course, who are we going to hear when we hear you perform?
Well, interesting. Well, if there were one person to point out, I'd have to say would be Jim Hall. He's just comes from where I exist in the musical emotional space and so forth.
And again, somebody who, like you said, recorded with Ella, and so the guitar and voice, is...
Of course, Joe Pass, and the Ella Fitzgerald.
Oh, that was Joe Pass. Sorry. Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's...
Sorry, getting my two-syllable guitarist mixed
up. That's right. What they do, I mean, we had a common vocabulary the instant we got together because we were so deeply influenced and inspired by that.
But it's not just going to be the two of you at Jazz Under the Stars. We're bringing quintet. Betsy, who else is going to be in the band?
We have such a great band, Dennis. As you know, we are so lucky to have so many fabulous musicians in this part of the state. So we're going to have Drew Morton on bass. Drew's just such a talented bassist. Just heard him the other night with Chris Mertz's band, the Very Happy Band, so he plays with top musicians. We have Ryan Smith, not the drummer, but the sax player, who is just awesome, and legendary jazz drummer Paul Cunliffe. Well, he's more than just a jazz drummer, but he's played in this area forever, and we're lucky to have him too.
That is a great lineup, and without spoiling the program, give me a couple of hints of what we're going to hear.
Well, we try to, in our repertoire, we really work to have a range of things from more pop tunes, maybe some Beatles thrown in there, in jazz arrangements, jazzified, as my friend Tina Haas-Findlay would say. But we try to have everything from pop tunes like that to some more complex jazz tunes that things that started out as jazz instrumentals that have been to which the vocals have been added. So we've got a couple of those too. And
will we have a couple of guitar-led instrumentals too?
Betsy's always pushing for that. That just might occur. She might get her wish.
It's Jazz Under the Stars second night coming up Thursday, the 11th of August, Knoll Ridge Park, and we've got an exceptional opening band for you. It's the second in our Young Artists series. YesterNite is the name of this group, and it's five fairly recent graduates of Liberty High School.
Oh, great!
On all
Wonderful.
of them, a lot of musical honors in jazz championships and all-state jazz and stuff. Couple just out of school, a couple are coming back after their first year of college. So it's gonna be a great. That's gonna be great. And as if that weren't enough, it's also KCCK's album and CD sale.
Oh, great!
So
great.
during the band break, you can
bring some cash.
Yeah, bring some cash, and we'll have. We've just been getting donations right and left, and a lot of fun albums because vinyl is very very hot these days.
That's right. Yeah.
And so that's going to be going on too. And of course, the usual. We've got ice cream. We've got food trucks, and a lot of fun. The music starts at 6:30 in Knoll Ridge Park, and so great to have you, Betsy, have you back in the area. And Ron, so great to have you in the area.
So good to be here.
And
we're thrilled to be a part of it, Dennis. We cannot wait. Cedar Rapids audiences are the best. So
it's been too long. It's been too long since we've had Jazz Under the Stars. So we're looking forward to it again. It's coming up Thursday, 6:30 in Knoll Ridge Park. The Betsy Hickok and Ron Roberts Quintet. We'll see you then.
Okay.
Fantastic.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:20 or download the podcast. Watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture or however you get your podcasts. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.